Contingent! Stand out! Ace! Stand! Easy!
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the 2014 National Heroes Day celebration here in Georgetown, Grand Cayman. This year, we especially honor our cultural heritage pioneers. At this time, it's my distinct honor to now welcome the platform party on the platform, starting with the Honorable Deputy Mayor, Mr. Moses Kirkconnell. Next, we have the Minister with overall responsibility for today's event, the Honorable Osborne Borden. We have the Honorable Tara Rivers, Minister for Education, Employment, and Gender Affairs. Mr. Roy Pack-Taggart, Ministerial Council Chair. Honorable Anthony Eden. MLA and Councillor Chair, Mr. Alva Saku. Honorable Marco Archer, Minister for Finance and Economic Development. MLA and Ministerial Councillor Chair, Mr. Joseph Hugh. Already seated on the platform this morning, and for Chief Justice Anthony Smelly is Justice Alexander Henderson. At this time, I just want to also welcome the Royal Cayman Islands Police Band.
Right, stand easy.
This morning, the official parade is made up of representatives from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Band, a detachment of the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, a detachment of the Cayman Islands Fire Service, a detachment of Her Majesty's Prison Service, a detachment of the Girls Brigade, a detachment of the Scouts and Cub Scouts, a detachment of the Cadet Corps, and the Seventh-day Adventist Pathfinders. All right, at this time, I invite you all to please wait for the arrival of the Commissioner of Police, which will be followed by the Honorable Speaker, then the National Hero, Ms. Sybil McLaughlin, then our Honorable Premier, followed by Her Excellency, the Governor. At this time, we have some additional platform party members joining us. We have the Honorable Deputy Governor, Mr. Franz Manison, also the member of the Legislative Assembly responsible for the District of Easton, Mr. Arden McLean.
Raid! Parade! Sean! Alle gewoon toe vast, sir. Wat is nodig? Zo. Alright. Raid! Standard is. Stand. Easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of our national hero, the Honorable Sybil McLaughlin.
Raid! Parade! Sean!
You may be seated.
Mr. Tibbetts and the AG snuck in behind you. They've just arrived.
Okay.
Sorry, the cabinet secretary slipped in as well.
She said it wasn't recognized.
He wasn't recognized.
That's what she told me.
Okay, no problem. That's right.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we await the arrival of the Honorable Speaker, also want to announce now the arrival of the Honorable Kurt Tibbetts, Minister for Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure. Also the Honorable Attorney General, Mr. Samuel Bulgen, and our Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Samuel Rose. Ladies and gentlemen, the arrival of the Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Makiva Bush. Ladies and gentlemen, as we await the arrival of some others for the platform party, we're going to invite the Royal Cayman Islands Police Band to entertain us a little bit as we wait. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you now to please stand for the arrival of the Speaker of the House, the Honourable Juliana O'Connor Conley. Please remain standing. At this time, we have the arrival of our Premier, the Honourable Alden McLaughlin.
Right! All right! Sean! Shoulder! Arms! Right! General salute! Present! Arms! Shoulder! Arms! Order! Arms! Right! Standard is...
Ladies and gentlemen, the arrival of Her Excellency, the Governor, Mrs. Helen Kilpatrick.
Right! All right! Sean! Shoulder! Arms! Right! Royal salute! Present arms! Shoulder arms! Order arms! Your Excellency, your guard of honor is formed up, ready, awaiting your inspection, ma'am. Right! Shoulder arms! Royal salute! Present arms!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Stand easy.
I kindly request that you remain standing for a walk past of school children waving flags in a display of their national pride. Thank you. Please be seated. At this time, Her Excellency the Governor will now present the proclamation to the Speaker of the House, the Honorable Ms. Juliana O'Connor Conley, to issue the proclamation for this day.
Good morning. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye all citizens, residents and visitors of these Cayman Islands. whereas on the 27th day of January, 2003, in the year of our quincentennial celebrations, the plot upon which we are presently met was proclaimed as Heroes Square, a sacred place of honor and esteem, dedicated to the endeavors, sacrifices, contributions, and achievements of the Caymanian people. And whereas the Wall of Honor and the statue and monument and cultural icons within this hallowed place all stand in remembrance of and in tribute to those who helped to build these beloved Cayman Islands. Now, therefore, we, the government and people of the Cayman Islands, give notice once again of our determination today and on National Heroes Day and every year hereafter to acknowledge with gratitude and pride the endeavors of our people, to pay tribute and respect to their sacrifices in a way that will forever be impressed upon our hearts and our country as we continue to uphold our values and steadfast dedication to our young people and to celebrate and honor our heroes' contributions and achievements. And in furtherance thereof, we hereby give notice on this day, the 27th day of January, 2014, and every occasion on the celebration of the National Heroes Day hereafter, that recognition by way of commendation and award and honors and the laying of flowers may be conferred on not only honored, but ordinary citizens, as shall be deemed deserving thereof. Proclaimed in the presence of all gathered here for this purpose at Heroes Square, Georgetown, Grand Cayman, this 27th day of January, in the year of our Lord, 2014, and the 62nd year of the reign of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I now invite all to stand at attention for the raising of the flags and the singing of the national anthem, God Save the Queen, being sung by Mr. Rudy Miles, and also request that you please remain standing at the completion of his singing of the national anthem, as Reverend Donovan Myers will then come to pray for our lovely islands. At this time, Mr. Rudy Miles.
Right! All right! Shot! Shoulder! Arms! Right! Royal salute! Present! Arms!
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen.
Right! Shoulder! Arms! Order! Arms! Right! Stand at ease! Stand easy!
At this time, Reverend Donovan Myers will come to lead us in prayer and ask God's blessings on these islands.
Let us pray. Almighty God, you who create new things out of nothing, you who speak the word and bring about new possibilities, You who call people and covenant with them, establishing new relationships. We bless your name for founding these islands upon the seas and establishing us on the waters. We bless your name for calling together a people for your glory and for creating a relationship of promise in which you have declared that we are your people and you will be our God. We praise you for always raising up among us talented, dedicated, and faithful women and men who have served the greater good, even ignoring personal gain. Raise up more Esthers and Moses within our board as we pray. People who will stand in the gap, willing to risk personal comfort so that your purposes might be accomplished and that your people might be led in your way. Forgive us, we ask, gracious God, when we have acted selfishly or cowardly, when we have chosen the way of convenience instead of the way of righteousness. Make us more deeply aware of the heritage we share and more firmly committed to bearing out our responsibilities as citizens and residents of Cayman. Cause these small islands to be great in the midst of the nations of the world, great in generosity, rich in justice, plentiful in creativity, and resplendent with honor. Grant us grace to know clearly your will and courage to fulfill the destiny that you have ordained for us. As you have promised, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. May we know this blessing, and may we experience your peace. Through Jesus Christ, our Lord, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Miles and Reverend Myers. Everyone, please remain standing as the parade marches off.
Raid! Parade! Sean! Close order! March! Shoulder! Arms! The parade will march off in column of route. Police contingent leading. Parade! Move to the right in files. Right! Turn!
Thank you. Please be seated. At this time, we will now have a performance by a youth choir, which is a combination of school children from across the island, will be coming forward at this time to entertain us. Please do enjoy the youth choir. A great job here this morning by the youth choir entertaining us at our 2014 Heroes Day celebrations. At this time, I invite our Premier, the Honorable Alden McLaughlin, to come to the podium at this time to deliver his remark. Honorable Alden McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. Your Excellency, Madam Speaker, ministers and members of Cabinet, members of the Judiciary, my colleagues in the Legislative Assembly, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the uniformed ranks, boys and girls, good morning. I want to be among the first to welcome you all to another Heroes Day celebration. I want to especially welcome Her Excellency the Governor to her first of these, our national celebrations. And I want to pause a moment to thank the members of our uniformed ranks for turning out again this year, as they have year after year, braving the heat of the sun to ensure that this ceremony is conducted with the dignity and pomp and ceremony befitting such an occasion. In 2003, in our quincentennial year, we first gathered in this place to pay tribute to those who had gone before us, who helped to build the foundations of modern-day Cayman. The fury of Hurricane Ivan meant that we were unable to continue this new tradition until 2007. But since that time, we have met year after year to celebrate not just those who have gone before us, but those who continue to contribute to the development of Cayman in one way or another. It is because of these people, the true nation builders, that the Cayman Islands is one of the best places in the world to visit, live, and work. Not only because of our stable government, safe communities, world-renowned financial services, and top-class tourism, but most of all, because of our kind and loving people who embrace and cherish our cultural heritage. And so, today, on this occasion, we are recognizing the men and women who have helped us to maintain our cultural heritage. People who work selflessly, day in and day out, to ensure that we and future generations remember our historic places, monuments, artifacts, those tangible things that are considered worthy of preservation. They have and continue to be instrumental in helping to preserve our social practices, rituals, festive events, arts, customs, ways of life, traditional craftsmanship, oral traditions, and expressions, including the various dialects from district to district. Given the speed at which the Cayman Islands has developed, and bearing in mind that the population of these islands has increased by 7 times in my short life, were it not for these custodians of our cultural heritage, indeed, not only future generations, but some of the present generations would have no idea where we came from, who we are, and what we are about as a people. And so today we pay tribute and we honor the contributions of these guardians of our culture. I think it important to note on this occasion that among those who have contributed to the preservation and promotion of our cultural heritage are not just those who were born of this soil, but many who have come here and helped us to recognize how precious many of our cultural traditions are. And today we also include in those who receive recognition for their contribution a number of new Caymanians who have helped us to preserve, to promote, to to recognize, to acknowledge, and to respect the culture of these beautiful islands that he hath founded upon the seas. Today, we also pay tribute, as we always do, to our national heroes. There are 8 of them now, and they're all set out in the brochure which each of you have. We must not forget our national heroes. The first was the Honorable James Manoa Borden, a visionary who helped to politically lead Cayman into an era of progress through modernization. A statue in his memory is one of the many monuments in this square. Today, we still have with us, praise be to God, our second national hero, Mrs. Sybil Ione McLaughlin, and she is present with us this morning. Miss Sybil, as most of us know her, was honored for her contribution to the development of parliamentary development in Cayman and to community life. Among her outstanding achievements was her appointment as the first clerk of a legislative assembly in the Commonwealth, and also as the first speaker of our legislative assembly in 1991. The other 6 national heroes are Mr. Thomas William Farrington, CBE JP, Mrs. Sybil Joyce Hilton, MBE, Mr. Orman L. Panton, OBE, Mr. Desmond Vere Watler, Miss Mary Evelyn Wood, and Mr. William Warren Connolly, OBE JP. Mr. Willie Farrington, as everyone knew him, was a former legislator and the original father of the House, serving for 55 years. I don't believe any one of us is going to get close to that. Among his accomplishments were the establishment of what is now the John Gray High School, and he was also a founding member of what was then known as Cayman International Airways. Mrs. Hilton was Cayman's first probation and welfare officer and a lifelong advocate for disadvantaged young people. She helped to develop the scouting movement, which has touched and helped shape many young lives in Cayman. Mr. Orman has become known as a very special son of Cayman and was the founder of Cayman's first political party and the first politician to win an election as a party leader. In 1955, he succeeded in confirming his right to a fair trial in the Jamaica Court of Appeal, a right now enshrined in Article 14 of the United Nations International Convention on Civil and Political Rights. He will be forever honored for his legal, political, and personal contributions to the Cayman Islands. Mr. Desmond was an exemplary citizen and civil servant, becoming the country's first treasurer, a position now known as financial secretary. His life remains a sterling example to today's young people, demonstrating that with hard work, dedication, and commitment to excellence, it is possible to reach the top of the career ladder. Miss Evie, as she was called, Miss Evelyn Wood, dedicated her life to bringing change to these islands for the benefit of Caymanian people, and women in particular. She was one of hundreds of women who in 1957 signed the petition for female suffrage, which is now commemorated here in Heroes Square, and she was the first woman to be elected to the Legislative Assembly. Mr. Warren Connolly was a major player in Cayman's political, economic, and social landscape. During his time in government, he set in motion some of the country's key legislation, including the Companies Law, the Bank and Trust Companies Law, the Land Adjudication and Registered Land Laws. He also helped to create the Department of Tourism and the Mosquito Control and Natural Resources Department. Each of these men and women selflessly gave their all to the Cayman Islands. Each of those we recognize today can take pride in knowing that their names will forever be marked in the history of our islands among those who helped to shape and form this beautiful and wondrous place we call home. If you are here today as a visitor celebrating with us, We welcome you with the only way we know, with Cayman kindness. Please enjoy our cultural heritage. Get to know our people. To those who live, work, and play among us, thank you once again for sharing this very important day with us. To my fellow Caymanians and residents, please continue to work with those we are honoring today to help ensure that our younger Caymanians, our children, grandchildren, our future generations don't forget our cultural history, who you for, and how we got here, and how our traditions were born. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out to join us today. Through our National Heroes Day, we celebrate our proud past and look to a future filled with nothing but hope. I do hope today will be a day you will not long forget, and I hope that you cherish the things you see and experience today and keep them forever in your hearts.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier, for those kind words and very inspiring words I might add here this morning to our celebrations. At this time, I'm going to invite Mrs. Nasaria Saku-Shillette to come forward, and she will be sharing with us a special poetry selection. At this time, Ms. Nasaria Saku-Shillette.
Just long Celia. Oh, 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 oh. It was just long Celia they called me, not Ntozake or Mama Zulu or even Nanny. Just long Celia. Just long Celia longing for freedom. Just long Celia hoping for home. Just long Celia free. Unhear them drums. Needs a berry sweet them words was, just like to bite in and let them run sticky down my chin. Free, free, free. Unhear them drums. This my Sunday offering, this my Boxing Day dinner, this my candlewood. It's in the wind that's fiddling through the wattle where the daub has worn away. It's running mad like ants across the table where heavy cake has just been cut. It's spilling out of hushed lips like drunken men pouring another cup of sea grape wine. Start a revolution, unhear them drums. You can't corral my spirit but for a little while. I feel the light you cannot see, and I will swim back home to lay my clutch where I began to be. And iron wood don't sink, unhear them drums. Sarah, you a gap seed in duppy. You a blackguard and telltale dead woman. You lie. And 12 white ghosts are fighting over my pickings in 50 lashes. I, a woman. I, a free woman. I, a naked woman. I, a tattered woman. But you still can't break open my cockspur thorny shell. And remember what happened when you rub a knicker wrong. Wake up, it's morning. You still tied to that dock, one knot away from walking on water? You still taking lashes from that raging monster whose rib you took? You still fighting the reflection you see in your basin that is me? Wake up! Lick them drums, Julia, lick them drums. Thank you. This last piece is dedicated to those early pioneers, those women who have been my mentors. It's called I Didn't Know. When I was rising up with pink-tipped clouds and pushing through inland bush, when I was cutting tops and planting thatch and sewing baskets and making rope and ragging rugs, when I was busy living, I didn't know I was making history. Lord, I didn't know. When I was stomping through highland grounds in wampered feet and waltzing over cliff rock, when I was pulling up roots and planting back and cutting hands and mashing flesh and boiling dumplings whole, when I was busy surviving, I didn't know I was making history. Lord, I didn't know. When I was sitting heart sore on lonely bays, lips giving praise, while I was racked with fear and belly bawling and hushing sobs and still smiling and begging that sea to give him back. When I was busy praying, I didn't know I was making history. Lord, I didn't know. When I was cutting, catching, crying, climbing, washing, wading, waxing, kneading, knotting, mixing, mothering, fathering, feeding, flinging, backing, bartering, battening, budgeting, baking, bearing, loving, I didn't know I was making history. Lord, I didn't know. But now that I am older, wiser, gray, I want you to know all them sucker trees, plants, and roots you harvesting came from my grounds. And I am the mother of your reaping, gathering, hoarding, grazing, amassing, cleaning, grabbing, living good. I was making history, but Lord, I didn't know. Thank you.
Great job there by Ms. Nasaria Saku Shillette. We thank you very, very much, ma'am, for sharing that piece with us this morning. At this time, we'll now have the presentations of the Brave Recitation Awards. And for that, I will invite our Premier, the Honourable Alden McLaughlin, and the Minister for Culture, the Honourable Osborne Bodden, to present to the recipients here this morning. The recipients are being awarded at this national level for exceptional courage in keeping the Cayman Islands community safe for all residents. These brave persons are as follows: Mr. Edward Azan, Mr. Charles Ebanks. Absent this morning is Mr. Ray McGuire, but Mr. Azan will accept on his behalf. The particular incident in which these brave young men are being awarded for this morning is dating back to May of 2012, when these fine gentlemen risked their lives and bravely intervened as ordinary residents during an incident back in May of that year, 2012. Again, we say congratulations to all three, Mr. Edward Azan, Mr. Charles Ebanks, and Mr. Ray McGuire. Thank you very much, gentlemen. At this time, we move on to another group of brave individuals. First, I'll call Detective Constable Manley Berry. Followed by Detective Constable Kalisha Baburam. This morning I state to you that these police officers displayed courage and bravery during an incident in Bodden Town, also back in May of 2012, and we thank them so much again for serving the people of these lovely Cayman Islands. Thank you very much, Honorable Premier and Minister Bodden. At this time, Minister Bodden will now come to the podium to deliver his remarks here for the Heroes Day celebrations 2014. Immediately following his remarks here this morning, we'll move to the presentations of cultural heritage, and we would invite at that time his Chief Officer, Ms. Jennifer Ahern, to join him for these presentations. By this time, Minister Osborne Bodden.
Protocol having been established and the platform party having been recognized, I will ask for your indulgence to forego repeating that. But on this special Heroes Day weekend, I would ask also respectfully if you would all be upstanding and give a vibrant round of applause for Aunt Julia. I'm sure she's among us for her 105th birthday. Thank you. This Heroes Day, as we gather to celebrate our culture, we pause to recognize the many people who have worked hard and long and who have contributed so much to the strengthening and preservation of our cultural institutions. This celebration is both fitting and timely. For the natives and residents of our three islands, our unique way of life imbues Caymanians and newcomers alike with a common link, one which unites us as a people into a mosaic blend of different practices, beliefs, and expressions. Culture is a combination of tradition, language, artifacts, or even historical places. Quite simply, it is the way of life of any given society. As some will recall, in the years before the development boom, some 50 years ago, it was all about hard work. Our excellent work ethic and our determined, God-fearing approach to forging ahead in spite of life's hurdles was indeed the dominant culture of times gone. Today, while we are steeped in special traditions, we are still a young country. At this point in our development, it is therefore fitting for us to take stock of our heritage, its relevance to our society, and the role culture will play in guiding our future. To do otherwise would deny our children their inheritance and imperil the pliable foundation of our emerging identity. While the traditional Caymanian expressions of culture are often subdued, it has defined who we are today. They were no less in depth and relevant than those more vibrant cultures of surrounding countries. Popular aspects include thatching, turtling, shipbuilding, a strong church-going tradition, cook rooms, catboats, wattle and daub houses, as well as games such as playing marbles and spinning gigs. We have been open and assimilated much in recent decades, like carnivals and other festivities, to showcase our beautiful islands to people from around the world. Even so many people work to preserve and even restore what we know of early Cayman. It is therefore high time for everyone to appreciate that we indeed have a real, vibrant, and evolving culture. We must then protect the best of this and a new way of life while taking our expressive arts to even greater heights. It was with great vision that early governments steered the preservation of our way of life by introducing the National Museum, the National Gallery, and the National Archives. Today's ceremony is a step in the right direction towards these goals. The award recipients have worked to ensure that the Caymanian community remains true to our forebearers' culture. Some have made invaluable deposits into our repository of music, dance, theater, visual arts, and architecture. Others still have contributed by virtue of their unstinted generosity towards our cultural institutions. Furthermore, our centuries past have left very little visual or written record, but much is preserved in our oral traditions and embedded in our memories. Even so, they are vulnerable to the changes and influences that come with time, particularly in a developing nation. We all suffer when we lose appreciation of such things, even if we are not fully aware that this is what we are experiencing. I therefore ask you to join me in congratulating our honorees and hope that today's celebration will help each of us to identify how we can make our personal contributions to preserving and promoting the cultural heritage of the Cayman Islands. Today, I encourage all citizens and residents to love and be proud of our culture. Fortunately, we have opportunities like National Heroes Day to celebrate those among us who work to preserve and promote our unique cultural heritage. At the same time, it must be well understood that preserving a culture doesn't mean to respect other people's culture. After all, by embracing cultures beyond our shores, we enhance our knowledge and appreciate where we come from even more. However, as we remember the good old days, let us remember that our youth must also play an important role in keeping our culture alive, and some are already busy doing this. Nowadays, we have young filmmakers, artists, playwrights, and musicians, and they help to build up a strong and modern, yet culturally rich society. And I truly believe that this young and brave generation will one day make a greater change and further strengthen and promote our island's culture, making this a better place to live for many years to come. By combining our talents, ideas, and expressions, not only do we enrich our society, but we entertain and uplift those around us. Once again, thank you to this year's honorees for their contribution towards our local heritage and being positive role models for future generations. I now pray that you will enjoy the rest of today's celebrations and festivities, and may God bless these Cayman Islands.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Borden, for your kind remarks here this morning as well. And now I invite your Chief Officer, Ms. Jennifer Ahern, to accompany you for the presentations. At this time, we'll be moving into the cultural heritage presentations. And I would say to you, the audience, that you are welcome to applaud our early pioneers and pioneers after their name is called and as they are presented with their awards here this morning. We're going to commence the presentations in the category of early pioneers. And the early pioneers are categorized as a person who has made a significant contribution prior to 1960 to the promotion and preservation of the Cayman Islands' cultural heritage. This individual may be alive or deceased, and a commemorative insignia and commemorative certificate will be awarded. In the cases where the individual has deceased, We have a family member here receiving on their behalf this morning. At this time are early pioneers. Rael B. Bodden. A family member will be receiving this morning on his behalf. Leela Rosalind Ebanks. Samuel Matthew Ebanks III. Here again, a family member will be receiving on his behalf. John Hooper Henning. Your family member will also be receiving on his behalf. Crosby who? Crosby Collymore Ebanks. Captain Paul Adolph Hurlston. Phyllis McLean, deceased, a family member will be receiving on her behalf. Blanche Lillian Rankin. Marjorie D. Rankin. Turner H. Rankin, deceased. Ms. Marjorie Rankin will be receiving on his behalf. Clarinel Christiana Connor. Thank you very much, Ms. Clarinel Connor. Next, we have Ms. Ethel Ebanks. Ms. Julia Almeria Hides. Ms. Marvel McLaughlin. And the final recipient in the category of Early Pioneers, Miss Annie Laura Walton. Again, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the awards for the Early Pioneers. In just a few moments, we'll be moving on to the category of Pioneers. All right, in the category of Pioneers, once again, a person who has made a significant contribution between 1960 and 2003 for the promotion and preservation of the Cayman Islands' cultural heritage. Here again, the individual may be alive or deceased, and this morning a commemorative insignia and commemorative certificate will be awarded. In the event of the individual being deceased, a family member has been asked to receive on his or her behalf. Daphne Louise Ackerman Oret. Charles C. Adams. Deceased, a family member will receive on his behalf. William Banker. Ray Banker. Leslie Bigelman. William Dudley Churchill Bodden, deceased, a family member will be receiving on his behalf. Gladwin Klosking Bush, deceased. A family member is also receiving on his behalf here this morning. Sorry, on her behalf. Margarito Chantelope. M. Janalee Clifford. Carmen E. Connolly. Jeff Criswell. Adelaide Irina Ebanks. Lily Anita Ebanks. Anna Consuelo Ebanks, deceased, a family member to receive on her behalf. Annalie Ebanks. Carlisle Ebanks.
Joseph H. Ebanks. Rose May Ebanks. Albert Radley Garzon, deceased, but a family member will receive on his behalf. Helen Harquail, deceased. We found the member receiving on her behalf. Ernest Carey Hurlstone. Bendel Hides. Percival Jackson. Deceased, a family member receiving on his behalf. Honorable Mary Janet Lawrence. Andy Elton Martin. You're seated? Both? Okay.
Yeah, because so what time did you do them? So you want to let me know which ones they are?
Those three that we just gave you for sure, don't call those.
Well, Lisa, and which other one?
Herbert Delmoth Martin. David Anthony Martins. The family member receiving on his behalf here this morning in his absence.
Daniel Moncrief McCoy Sr. Here again, family members receiving on his behalf as he's absent here with us. Dr. Frank McFeel. His award being received this morning by his son on his behalf. Alvin Allen McLaughlin. Florence Greta McLaughlin, deceased. A family member receiving on her behalf. Gleda Euleen McLaughlin. Heather Ruth McLaughlin. Eileen McLaughlin. Henry David Matu. Horst George Nowak. A good friend receiving on his behalf this morning.
You don't have no shoes, you said.
This is his picture now.
This is him.
This is barefoot.
H. Edward Oliver, deceased. Athelin Pedley. Ms. Pedley is also receiving this morning on behalf of Dr. Philip Edward Pedley. Anthony Powell. Arona Uriah Powery. Oswald M. Rankin. Isaac Gerolo Rankin. Edmund Rex Scott. Deceased, a family member receiving on his behalf. Diana Essie Scott Driscoll. Janice Opal Solomon. Nasaria Saku Shalette. Lenton N. Tibbetts, deceased, a family member receiving on his behalf. Ira Walton, deceased, a family member receiving on his behalf. Esther Vernicia Watler, deceased, a family member receiving on her behalf. Vivian Elizabeth Watler. Joan Evangeline Wilson.
What else is down? Did that move? Okay, that's Joseph Evans. Yes. Okay, and that's it? Yes, sir. Okay, good.
We're going to ask the Honorable Minister, along with his chief officers, to move on down closer to the audience to do 3 presentations. Here, still in the category of pioneers. First, we have Joseph H. Ebanks. Next, we have Laurel Martin. And our final recipient this morning in the category of pioneers, Lethan Lindbergh Martin. Thank you very much, Minister Budden and Ms. Ahorn. And I once again say congratulations to our early pioneers and pioneers on their awards here this morning. Moving right along, Minister Budden will now recognize those of you who have made a significant contribution to the Cayman Islands cultural heritage and have been awarded in the categories of Emerging Pioneers, Memorial Scroll, and Long Service. In these areas, I would ask that you please stand as your name is called, or if you're here representing a family member who is deceased, we ask that you please do stand at that particular time when your family member's name is called. Members of the public, you are very much encouraged to applaud the awardees once their name is called here this morning. At this time, once again, Honorable Minister Budden.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. We have 3 categories: Emerging Pioneers, Memorial Scroll, and Long Service Award. I will call the names in each section, and I will ask that you hold your applause until the end of that section. Under Emerging Pioneers, Deborah Barnes Tabora. And we ask that the recipient stand. Denise Bodden. J.A. Roy Bodden, J.P., Ivan Burgess, Randy Shalette, Christopher Christian, Keno Daly, Bergman Ebanks, Deal Ebanks, Saskia Jenna Miracle Edwards, Virginia C. Foster, Kevin Gorin, Lorna Green, Mark Hides, Kim Jackson, Natasha Claire Kozeli, Jerris Miller, Carla Reed, Samuel Rose JP, Alexander Uricourt, A. Joel Walton, JP, Brian Kirby Watler Jr., and Erlington Jeff Dilbert. A round of applause for all emerging pioneers. Could someone turn the AC on, please? Under the memorial scroll, Susan Christine Barnes, George Whitecross Ebanks, Clifton Adalbert Hunter, MBE, Judson Albert McCoy, Captain Keith Parker Tibbetts, Senior, MBE, JP, Adina Whitaker, Harvey Dalkeith Whitaker. A round of applause. And finally, on the Long Service Award, Marlena Hillridge Anglin, Captain Dale Banks, Lulan Samuel Bodden, Tenson Bodden, QPM, Dalkeith Bothwell, George McClure Bothwell, Caris Bramwell, Lucille M. Douglas, Wilfred McCatrick Douglas, Darwin Dennis Ebanks, Erna Jean Evelyn Ebanks, Jeffrey William Ebanks, Paul Darwin Ebanks, Thomas Ewart Ebanks, Maple Valentine Edwards, Raina Dean Jefferson Certificate Honors, Alex Evangeline Johnson, JP, Andy McCoy, Charisse Raquel Morrison, Marcia Matu, Ellard Erlin Miles, Radley and the Happy Boys, Tamara L. Seltzer, John Bothwell Smith, Mitzi Tomlinson, Mitchell Wells, Certificate Honor, JP, Archie Burt Clinton Whitaker, Audrey Whitaker, Carolyn Conime Whitaker, Vida Cynthia Whitaker, Colin Wilson, and Grace Elniff Wright. A round of applause. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. And again, congratulations to our awardees. Your efforts, though great or small, have certainly not gone unnoticed. Now we will have a commemoration to our national heroes, which will be read by Mr. Joel Francis. Mr. Francis.
Thank you. Good morning. Our first national hero, the Honorable James Manoa Jim Bodden, is regarded as a visionary who directed Cayman's progress through modernization. As Minister for Tourism and Aviation, he helped establish Cayman Airways and construct the Owen Roberts International Airport. He is also honored with a statue here in Hero Square. National hero, the Honorable William Warren Connolly. His illustrious public service and political career as an elected member ensured that he was a major player in Cayman's political, economic, and social arena. While in government, he helped establish key legislation, including the 1972 Constitution, the Companies Law, and the Planning Law. The Honorable Thomas William Farrington was an outstanding citizen who played a major role in launching the Cayman Islands' success. His 55 years of service as a people's representative still stands as the longest tenure. The first elected member responsible for finance, he was also the first Caymanian to be honored by Her Majesty the Queen as a commander of the British Empire. The Honorable Sybil Joyce Hilton was Cayman's first probation and welfare officer and served as a lifelong advocate for disadvantaged young people. Notably, she championed the need for a separate court for juveniles, served on the adoption board, and also helped develop the Scouts movement in the Cayman Islands. The Honorable Ormond L. Panton was an outstanding political personality. He founded Cayman's first political party and was the first to win an election as party leader. An outspoken attorney, he was the first Caymanian attorney to appear before the Privy Council in London. Although the youngest, he was a vocal delegate to the historic West Indies Federation discussions. The Honorable Desmond V. Watler was an exemplary citizen and civil servant. He remains a role model for standards of civil service integrity and a shining example of hard work taking you to the top. He was the first treasurer, later changed to financial secretary, the first chief secretary, and served in the Legislative Assembly in every area of parliamentary administration. The Honorable Mary Evelyn Wood was the first woman elected to the Legislative Assembly and also the first to serve on a jury. Her lifelong commitment for addressing the needs of the local community saw her establish a school in her early 20s. She later became a trained practical nurse, providing tireless care in Grand Cayman, but especially during the typhoid epidemic of the late 1930s. And national hero, the Honorable Sybil Ione McLaughlin, continues to be a beloved and active member in Cayman society. She received the highest national honor for invaluable contributions to parliamentary development and community life. The first Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, she was also the first female clerk of the Legislative Assembly in the entire Commonwealth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis, for the commemoration of our national heroes. Our national heroes are those we laud as the framers of our cultural heritage. It is only fitting that we now pay further respect to them, as well as in recognition and remembrance of our nation builders by the laying of the wreaths. At this time, I call upon all wreath layers to come forward to collect your wreaths. And as the wreaths are being laid this morning, the Cayman Islands folk singers will sing softly in the background as the wreaths are laid. As we await the wreath laying, just a quick announcement, just to remind you, please, to remember to visit the old library for the cultural heritage display, which is open until after the conclusion of our ceremony. In fact, it'll be open until 2 p.m. here today. So we just encourage each of you to take the time to visit the display in our library at the conclusion of our Heritage Day celebrations. Our Heroes Day celebration, my apology. The wreath for national hero, the late Honorable James Manoa Borden, is laid by his granddaughter, Miss Tina Trombach, and his grandson, Nathan Trombach. The wreath for the Women's Monument Aspiration is to be laid by the Honorable Tara Rivers, Miss Lucille Seymour, Mrs. Wanda Tatum, and Miss Carleen Watler Scott. The wreath for Tradition Monument is to be laid by Mr. Bob Soto, Miss Amanda Soto, Miss Joellen Thompson, Mr. Sherlock Farrington, and Mr. Ellsworth Lee Borden. For the Catboat Monument is to be laid by Mr. Loxley Banks, Captain Crosby E. Banks, Mr. Jerris Miller, and Mr. Kim Jackson. In recognition of Bordentown Nation Builders, the wreath is laid by the Honorable Osborne Borden, Honorable Wayne Panton, Honorable Anthony Eaton, and Councillor Aldous LeCoux. Mrs. Shirley Ann Tibbetts will lay a wreath in memory of the national hero from the District of Bordentown, the Honorable Mary Evelyn Wood. In recognition of Georgetown Nation Builders, the wreath is laid by our Premier, the Honorable Alden McLaughlin, Honorable Kurt Tibbetts, Honorable Marco Archer, Councillor Joey Hugh, Councillor Winston Connolly, and Councillor Roy McTaggart. Mr. Bill Watler will lay a wreath in memory of the national hero from the District of Georgetown, the Honorable Desmond V. Watler, and Miss Sandra Simmons will lay a wreath in memory of the national hero, the Honorable Sybil Joyce Hilton. recognition of West Bay Nation builders, the wreath is laid by the Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable W. McKeever Bush, Honorable Tara Rivers, and Captain Eugene Ebanks. Mr. Owen Farrington will lay a wreath in memory of national hero from the District of West Bay, the Honorable Thomas William Farrington. In recognition of our Northside Nation builders, the wreath is laid by Mrs. Alex Johnson on behalf of Mr. Ezra Miller, member of the Legislative Assembly.
One day I was going Bosun Bay. I happened to
Recognition of Eastern Nation builders, the wreath is laid by Mr. Arden McLean, member of the Legislative Assembly. Mr. Burns Conley will lay a wreath in memory of a national hero from the District of Easton, the Honorable William Warren Conley. In recognition of Cayman Brack and Little Cayman Nation builders, the wreath is laid by the Honorable Juliana O'Connor Conley, Speaker of the House, and the Deputy Mayor, the Honorable Moses Colonel.
I can see the willows waving on your southern shore as the breeze gently whispers through the trees, and the song I hear them singing floats across the distant shore, and it seems to say, my child, come back to me. Come back home.
join me in a hand of applause for Cayman Islands folk singers doing an excellent job here this morning for us. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I invite you now to please stand as we observe 40 seconds of silence to the memory of all those names etched in the granite that is before us here today at Heroes Square. Please stand for 40 seconds of silence. Thank you. Please remain standing as the parade marches back into Heroes Square.
Right. Standard is. Stand is a.
Thank you. Please remain standing for the national song, Beloved Isle Cayman, to be sung by Miss Jaden Hannah.
Raid! Parade! Sean!
Good morning. Oh, land of soft, fresh breezes, oh, the trees so fair, with thy Creator's glory reflected everywhere. Oh, sea of palest emerald, merging to darkest blue. Whene'er my thoughts fly Godward, I always think of you. Dear verdant island set in blue Caribbean Sea, I'm coming very soon. Oh, beauteous isle, to thee, although I'm wandered far, my heart enshrines thee at homeland fair Cayman Isle. I cannot thee forget.
Right. Standard is. Stand is a.
Thank you very much, Jaden. At this time, I ask you to please remain standing now for the departure of Her Excellency, the Governor.
Right. Parade! Sean! Shoulder! Arms! Right! Royal salute! Present! Arms! Shoulder! Arms! Order! Arms! Right! Standard is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the departure of our Honorable Premier.
Shoulder! Arms! Right! General salute! Present! Arms! Shoulder! Arms! Order! Arms!
That's how they got it. Her name is speaker. I don't know. Just leave it that way. You can come back to the store first. When the whole part, one party.
Right! Stand at ease! Stand easy!
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing now for the departure of the Honourable Speaker of the Legislative Assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing now for the departure of our Honourable Hero, Ms. Sybil McLaughlin.
Raid! Parade! Sean! Raid! Stand at ease!
Ladies and gentlemen, the Commissioner of Police now prepares for departure.
Right! All right! Sean!
Please remain standing as the parade marches off and back to Central Police Station.
Right! Close order! March! Shoulder! Arms! The parade will march off in column of route. Police contingent leading. Parade! Move to the right in files. Right! Turn! Right! By the left! Quick! March!
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the platform party will now depart. As the platform party is departing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, just want to remind you that refreshments and entertainment will be available in the library car park as you leave Central Hero Square here today. And you are especially invited to visit the Special Cultural Heritage exhibit in the public library, and it will be open today until 2 p.m. With that, we say thank you. You all have been a wonderful audience. We say thank you, and please do enjoy the rest of our National Heroes Day celebration for 2014. Thank you. Good day.